Hi, it's Helen from crochetmantra.com. Welcome. Let's get creative. Hi, so we're going to begin now the Granny Square. So we can do this in one of two ways. For this tutorial I'll show you the slip knot, which is covered in a previous video. So we make a slip knot. Let me just show you that again slowly. Make a loop, bring the yarn end, the working yarn end up behind the loop, pull up a loop, let go and pull, and there's your slip knot. Pull it up to the hook. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now to start this we have to insert our hook into the first chain. So that's our knot and this is our first chain. So insert your hook into there. Grab the yarn and pull up a loop. Now this is where it's a little bit different. So normally we would yarn over and pull through, but we don't. This is a slip knot. So we carry on and we just pull it through the next loop. And this gives us a hole in which to stitch our stitches. So don't be tempted to stitch into here, because that's actually our first chain. That and that is our first chain. So they belong together like that. And there is our center. So that's what we work into. Now we need to make some double crochets. So we need to chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. That counts as our first double crochet. Yarn over, insert your hook into the center, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's your second double crochet. Yarn over, insert into the middle, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that is our first little part of the, let me show you on here. So here's our granny square. That is this part here, one of these. So we need to carry on. We need to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So that's going to give us our link to turn a corner. All will become clear in a moment. Yarn over, insert your hook into the middle, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. It's always a nice idea to keep cinching your stitches round so you can see what you're doing. Yarn over, insert into the middle, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So that's our second. So we're making little bunches of 3 stitches. Yarn over, insert your hook into the center, yarn over, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's our second little bunch of stitches here. So if we refer to our granny square, we have now made 2. This is our center section. That's our first little bunch and that's our second little bunch. 1, 2. So this becomes a corner. Okay, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, insert your hook into the center, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. Push your stitches round. Yarn over, insert your hook into the center. This is our tail end, so you can work so you're going underneath your tail end and effectively stitching it in as you go. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So that's 2 of our next little bunch of 3. Yarn over, pull through, enter into the center, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So that's our third little cluster, and you can see it's beginning to form a square. It's quite amazing. Yarn over, no, make a chain of 3, sorry, we're making the next corner. Yarn over, insert your hook into the center, pull up a loop, twist this work round. You'll find it'll want to start curling round the hook. Just pull it back around. It's fine. Make it go where it should belong. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, I say this is in all my videos. Don't be frightened to pull your work about. It will go into shape when it's meant to. Yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we're making double crochets here. And we've made another corner. Yarn over, insert your hook into the center, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that is our first chain 3 that we did at the beginning of our first cluster. So we need to somehow bridge this gap here. This one here, we need to complete this corner, because this is 1 cluster of 3, this is 2 clusters of 3, 3 clusters of 3 and the 4th. So this is essentially our first round. So we need to chain 3. 1, 2 and 3. And then we go into the top of the chain 3. So we've got 1, 2, 3. So we put our hook in there. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Hook into there, yarn over, pull through, and slip stitch, which means you don't do any yarn overs, you just pull through that loop. And that is our center round. So that is this center section here. This looks smaller because it was a smaller weight wool. If I compare and show you just quickly, it's slightly thinner than this wool, so I used a slightly smaller hook. So the Granny Square is smaller. This is slightly bigger because I thought it would be easier to show you what to do. So let's carry on. So we're now doing round 2. So well done for completing round 1. Chain 3. So in order to move up to the next round, on any of these rounds, so a round is each next layer around, we need to chain 3 to allow us to jump up so we can start. So this chain 3 is closer to the corner than it is to this corner. So we're going to count this chain 3 as one of a cluster of 3 that belong in this corner here. So we're just working now. There's our center 4 on this batch here. And if you look, this one and this one make up another corner. So we're going to count this as our corner. So in order to get across to this corner, what we have to do is chain another 1 like that. Yarn over and go straight into this corner big space here. And that's called a chain 3 space. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So we're in this corner here now. So we're doing this little cluster here, then we'll make a corner, and then we'll do this cluster here. There's a little rule of thumb that I remembered when I was learning how to do this. So on corners you chain 3, and on sides you chain 1, and I'll explain that. So we've got the first of our double crochets. We always have to have 3 double crochets together. So we'll make 2 more, 1, 2, and the third one, double crochet. So there's our cluster of 3. Now I said we had to, on corners we had to chain 3, so this is where we chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and then we do another little set of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. There we go. So that has given us another corner on our next row. You can see it goes up and goes round a corner. Now we're on a space, so we've got to somehow jump over this cluster here. So we need to, it's a side. This is going to be a side, this is a side, here's a side, and here's a side. And then there's corner, 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 corner. So on a side, you always just in between chain 1. Then we're going to jump into this next corner space, and we're going to put a little bunch of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Great. And then because we're on a corner, we need to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And we put in another into the same space, little bunch of 3 double crochets. So that's 1 and 2 and 3. And I'm holding my work pretty much at the moment in the center, just so I can move it around. So we've made 2 corners now. We've got another corner here, and we've just made our second corner here. So we have to jump over this little space. So we chain 1 because it's on a side. There we go. Now we jump straight into this next big chain 3 space, because here's the chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and this space is called a chain 3 space. If there was 5 chains there, it would be a chain 5 space, and so on. But we need to jump over a cluster, so it's on a side, so we've chained 1. And now on a corner we have to do a set of 3, a chain 3, and a set of 3, all into the same chain 3 space. So corners always have 2 little sets separated by a chain 3. Always, always. On any corner, there's always 2 and a chain 3, 2 and a chain 3, 2 and a chain 3. And on a side, there's just the 1. So let's just continue on. So we've chained 1, so we're jumping straight here into the corner, and we do our first little bunch of 3 double crochets. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's our first little bunch of 3 double crochets. Chain 3 because we're on a corner. 3 on a corner, 1 on a side. Now we need, because it's a corner, we need another little bunch, a little cluster of double crochets, and they come in sets of 3. So long as you do 3, you're heading in the right direction. 1, 2, and 3. And we're on a side, so we need to jump over this little bunch here of 3. So we chain 1 because we're on a side, and we're back to a corner now. Now let me explain this to you. So we've chained 1, so we can go 3 double crochet, chain 3, and here we only need to do 2 double crochet because here this chain that we did to start the round with counts as our double crochet. Do you remember when I started I said this will be our first stitch because it's nearer to this corner. So this is 1 of 3. So we jump into here and we'll go double crochet, double crochet, double crochet, chain 3, double crochet, and that's our third. So let's just do that. So we've chained 1. Into the chain 3 space, we'll do our little bunch of 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. This is where sometimes a mistake can be easily made because it's easy to forget that our beginning chain is our third of our next set of 3 double crochet. Now we're on a corner, so we need to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And normally we would put 3 more double crochet here, but we've got 1, so we only need to put in 2. So that's 1, and 2. Because there's our third. So now we need to slip stitch into the top of the third. 1, 2, 3. So into there. Just insert your hook. Go under the 2 loops of the V. Yarn over, pull through. And we don't yarn over here. We just carry on and pull through again. So what we've got here is our 3, chain 1, 3, chain 3 because we're on a corner, 3, chain 1, 3, chain 3 because it's a corner, 3, chain 1 on a side, 3, chain 3 because it's on a corner, 3, chain 1 because it's on a side, 3, chain 3 because it's on a corner. And then we did double crochet, and we counted our first chain 3 as our third double crochet. So let's move up onto the next row. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So this one is nearer to this hole than this cluster. So this will count as a double crochet. So yarn over into the chain 1 space because we're on a side, put 2 more double crochet. 1, 2. And as your granny square gets bigger and bigger, you'll get more and more of these clusters on the sides. So if you look at this one, here we didn't really have any on the side. On the next round we had 2. On the next round we had the 3, and on the next round we have 4. Because it's growing bigger both ways. So we're on a side. You can see we're not on a corner, we're on a side. So we chain 1. There. Yarn over, jump into the corner space. and put your first little bunch of 3 double crochet. So that's 1 and 2 and 3. This is all going well, guys. Now we're on a corner, so we need to chain 3. 1, 2 and 3. And because we're on a corner, we need to have, living in this chain 3 space, 2 of these little bunches of 3 double crochets. So let's put another one in. So we've got 1, and don't rush it, take your time, 2 and 3. So let's have a look what that's given us. So we've made another corner. So you can see, let me move this tail away. So center, and then the corners will start to radiate out. So you can see here, like this, and like this, and here, and here. So we've got the middle, and then we're beginning to radiate out. If we at this point we turn our work over, you can see there's our tail. You can hold your work down and just pull quite firmly on that tail. And what we'll do at the end is we'll weave that in to hold it tight. And then if we turn our work back again, you can see how it cinches nicely up the center. And that'll all be firm because we'll weave in the end at the end. So back to this. So on our corner we've got a 3, a chain 3 and a 3. 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. Now we're on a side. So we need to chain 1. And now we have here a center space. Now this is the first time we've had this, but it is a side still. It's not a corner, so therefore it's a side. So into here we put 3 double crochet. 1, 2 and 3. Now we're still on the side. Pull some yarn. Because we're not on a corner, therefore we must be on a side. So we chain another 1. Because the only time we chain 3 is on a corner. Yarn over, and we're going to jump now into the corner space. And we're going to put our first set of 3 double crochets. So that's 1 and 2 and 3. 3 double crochets. And because we're on a corner, we do a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then, because we're on a corner again, and we know we have to have 2 sets of 3 double crochets on a corner. So let's put that in. So this is our first one. 1 and 2 and 3. Excellent. So we have got another corner that we've made. So you can see that's round 1, this is round 2, and we're beginning round 3. This was the beginning of round 3 here. So we made a corner, we've worked up the side, we've made another corner. So we're on a side now. So we have to, you've guessed it, chain 1. And we jump straight into this next chain 1 space because it's on a side, not a corner. And we put a set of 3 double crochets, and it's on sides it's only one set of 3. On corners you have 2 sets. Oh, split the yarn. So that's our one set of 3 double crochet, and we're still on a side because we're not on a corner. So we chain 1, yarn over, and we're jumping into the chain 3 space on the corner. So we know that we need to have 2 sets of 3 double crochet. So this is our first set, and to make our corner we have to chain 3. 1, 2 and 3. Turn our work a little way, and we're going to put our second set in. Just if they're bunching up, just cinch them round a little bit. So we go 1, and 2, and 3. So this is our 2 sets of double crochet on our corner, separated by our chain 3, and it makes a really nice 90-degree corner. Now, by default, because we're not on a corner, we must be on a side, so therefore we chain 1, yarn over, and we jump into the next chain 1 space. And we know it's a chain 1 space because it's on a side. If you've got a chain 3 space here, we've done something wrong. So we just need to pull it out until we get to the place where we went wrong and just redo it. No biggie. It's fine. Don't worry about it. The times I would get, so I would maybe do even 3 or 4 rows and then look back and there's a mistake. But it's okay. The whole point about crochet, we're on a side, so we're chaining 1, is that it's relaxing. Sometimes it seems, you know, if you're concentrating so much, we forget to actually enjoy that we're creating something beautiful. You know, it's something that's nice to do, especially if you know you're doing it for somebody as a present. So we're on a corner, so we've done our first set of 3, and we're going to separate the first set by 3 chains. Yarn over, and we're going to put our second set in here. It's such a nice feeling when you make something though, and you give it as a gift, a present to somebody, and you know you've stitched every single stitch with absolute love. Sometimes a bit of frustration when you've had to unpick it, but hey, they don't need to know that. So we've made 1 corner, 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, separated by 1, 3 double crochet, separated by 1. And we're on a corner, so we have 3 double crochet separated by 3, 3 double crochet separated by 1, and 3 double crochet on a corner, so we have 3 double crochet separated by chain 3 and 3 double crochet. Always we have 2 in the corners. 1 chain, 3 double crochet, 1 chain, and we're a corner, so we have 3 separated by chain 3 and 3. And here we are back at the beginning. So we've got a cluster there of 3. So we know that all we have to do is link here, because we're on a side, with a chain 1. And then we simply go count up our little ladder of chains here. 1, 2, 3. Insert your hook into that stitch there. So we've got 1, 2, 3. Insert your hook there, straight through. Catch 2 fibres, so you've got your V. Yarn over, pull through, and pull straight through again, because we're slipping it. So we're finishing off that round. It's looking good, guys. And if you remember to come up onto our next round, we go 1, 2 and 3. There. And the way you work out what you're doing here is you just have to see where this chain 3 is closest to, and I can see it's closer to this chain 1 space because it's a side, it's a chain 1. You can see there's one chain in the middle. Here, there's one chain in the middle. So this chain 3 is going to belong to 2 more that are eventually, when we've gone all the way round and come back, there will be a chain 3 here, a double crochet 3 cluster. So we will have to only put 2 because that's our third. So we're on a side. So when we're on a side, we need to chain 1. So we need to chain here that 1 that gives us the space to be able to move here. So yarn over, jump into the chain 1 space, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So let me just show you that, what we did. So we know that the chain 3 here, 1, 2, 3, belongs in this hole here. So we will, when we've gone all the way around, we'll put 2 double crochet here because this one, that 3, 1, 2, 3 is the third, and that lives in this hole here. But then we chained a 4th, which lets us jump so we can get to this hole here. And we know that we have to put 2 more in there because we work in 3s on a granny blanket. I hope you're finding this useful because for me, I never understood when I was learning where I was. I'd lose my place all the time because I'm not best at remembering whether I need to do a chain 1 or a chain 3. So for me, it really, really did help finally clicking and understanding that on a side, I needed to always have a chain 1 in between. And on a corner, I needed to always put a chain 3. And that the clusters were always 3 double crochets. So there's only really the 3 things you have to remember, which sounds simple, but it's not. So we're on a side, so we've just chained 1. Yarn over, and we're going to jump into a corner. So we know we need 3 double crochet, 1, and 2 and 3, and because we're on a corner we have to do a chain 3. 1, 2. Always, if you notice, I move my stitch right here so it keeps the stitches the same size. I don't work in this thinner part here. Watch. So yarn over, pull through, back. Yarn over, we need to put our second cluster of 3 double crochet. So yarn over, pull through 2 and back. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2 and back. It will become a habit, and it's a good habit to have because it starts to make sure that your stitches are the same size. So there we've made our corner. 2 clusters separated by a chain 3. And now we're on a side, so we know that we need to do a chain 1. And because we're on a side, we just have 1 set of 3 in each space. So that's 1, 2, 3. Chain 1 because we're on a side. There's our next hole. 1 set of 3. So it's 1 double, 2 doubles, 3 doubles. We're still on a side, so we chain 1. Here's the corner, so we know we have to do a set of 3 doubles. So it's 1, 2, and 3. And this is where most people make a mistake, because they do this and you'll see your stitches are sitting kind of in the middle of that. And when you're going round and round and round and round, you'll forget to put on a corner 2 sets. It's very easy to go chain 1 and jump into here. Always on a corner, make sure you pull them back and then you chain 3. Just make a note on a piece of paper beside. Hold up, my yarn Genie is going a bit mad here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, and we've done 2 chains. So there's our 3rd chain. While I'm talking about that, my yarn Genie is this. Let me just hold it on the side for you. So it's basically this. So you poke your wool inside so it comes out at the top, and then you connect it just by a magnet to there, and then it holds, you put it up so you're standing it on the base like that. So if I can hold it steady and turn it for you, you can see. And that keeps your wool in such a nice place. And that's how it connects on the top. So it's a magnetic clip. It's called a wool Genie. But it means that when you pull on your yarn, your ball doesn't go flying off the couch onto the floor and pick up every single piece of rubbish that's on the floor that you didn't even know was there. 1, 2, 3. So we have to now do our 2nd set of 3 double crochet. 1 and 2 and 3. There we go. So we've gone round our corner now. So we're on a side. So we know we just have to chain 1. There's our next hole. So we dive into there and put 1 set of 3 double crochets. So that's 1 and 2 and 3. And you'll find that you'll start whipping round these sides, but always just check that you've got 2 clusters in the corner here and 1 cluster on each of the holes up the sides. If you keep checking, you haven't got, hang on, did we do a, no we didn't, look. So we need to chain 1 because we're on a side. 1 set of 3 double crochet here. 1 and 2 and 3. There. Excuse me. Still on a side, so we chain 1. Then here we have a cluster separated by 3 chains and then another cluster. Although I'm calling it a cluster, it's technically not a cluster stitch. We'll do that in another tutorial, but they're kind of double crochets clustered together. You could call them a group or a bunch, call them what you like really, but a cluster stitch technically is a different stitch. So don't be fooled by that one. I'm trying to tell you all the little things that fooled me when I was learning. Terminology is another one. You have US terminology and you have UK terminology. So, for instance, a UK terminology for a single crochet is a single, but in America is a single crochet is a double in England. That totally didn't make any sense whatsoever. In America, a double crochet is exactly the same as a single crochet in the UK. How strange is that? It's only a little thing, but until somebody actually brings it to your attention, you probably haven't twigged that there's UK terminology and US terminology. And I will put a link actually in the description box to the Yarn Council site that explains all of these. So in America, a double crochet, which is what we're doing now because I'm using US terminology, it just seems to logically make more sense to me, even though I'm British, is a double in America is a treble in the UK. Both mean the same thing. So have a look in the description box, and the Yarn Council is a set of standards globally pretty much agreed. And they have a nice little chart on there. See, I just made a mistake because I'm talking to you about things that randomly confused me. Here, I'm on a side, and I should have made a chain 1, but I've made a chain 3. All I do to correct that is pull out my hook, pull out the stitches until you get where you can see there's one chain coming out of the top. There, because we only need 1 on the side, not 3. So that's a classic error that is so easy to make. And the thing that always frustrated me more than anything was I'd never realise it straight away. How come you have to go all the way round and round and then suddenly you notice that you made a mistake in the first or second stitch? It's a bit like when you drop toast. It always lands butter side down. So here's where we started. We've come all the way round here, gone round the corner, come up, gone round the corner, and we're going along. We're still on a side, remember, because we're not in a corner, and here it can be confusing sometimes. We're still on a side, so we chain 1. This is our last corner of this round, so we 3 double crochet, 1 and 2 and 3, and because we're on a corner, just pull some more yarn here, we have to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Yarn over, and we'll put the second set of 3 double crochets in the corner. 1 and 2 and 3. So we've done the corner, so we are now by default on a side. So we need to chain 1, and we need to go into our last space here. And if you remember, this is this chain 3 counts as a double. So there's 1 in there already then, effectively. I know it's sitting on top, but it belongs to this hole here. So when you get all the way around, just because it's on top, don't think you've still got to put 3 in here, because this one lives and belongs to this hole here. So that's the third. So we need, now we've chained 1, so we only need to put in 2. 1, This is the part that took me a long time to understand. I know it's such a simple thing, but I don't know whether it was just me, but it took me a long time to understand how the round finished, because I think this one sits on the top and is not inside the loop. But you can see here, we've put 2 in here, and this is our third, because we did a chain of 3 plus 1. So we count to the top of the chain 3, and we insert our hook under the 2 threads, yarn over, pull through, and yarn over and pull through again. And if you remember, how we begin the next round is we chain 3. You always, 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 without question, chain 3. And you look where this chain 3 is nearest to, and in this case it's nearest to this hole here. So we know that in here we only need now to put 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, chain 1 on a corner. So we put 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet, and we just follow the same all the way around. Just look to your previous row as to what you've done. Just remember 2 sets on a corner, and on sides 1 set, 2 set, 1 set, 1 set, 2 sets, 1 set, 1 set, 2 sets. And then on the sides you separate them with a chain 1, and on the corners you separate them with a chain 3. And that's it. That's our granny square. And you can, just out of interest, see the difference in hook size. This is a 5 and this one was made with a 4. So you can see that the different hook and the lighter weight yarn makes for a smaller shape. Granny blanket squares or granny squares, you can grow as big as you like. You could keep growing this. You can change colours. You can make them just a little bit bigger. You can make them fit a king-size bed. You can make lots and lots of squares this size and join them together. You could make a pink one, a dark purple one, a white one, and you stitch them together. And I will be doing another tutorial quite soon on how to join granny squares. Because believe it or not, there is a specific way, well, there's lots of ways, but a basic join to make it look neat and tidy. So I really hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you've enjoyed it. Leave comments on the type of videos that you want me to make for you, and I'll do my best to make them. Take care and stay safe. See you next week. Bye.